the body. Now I see a few things. The pickup covers looks like a lot of string wear, etc. But it also has a concave. I don't know if you can see that, but the whole thing's caved in. The whole pick guard's caved in a bit. Now what that could be is that these are too tight, and when they move them up and down, they've pulled the pick guard. But I also noticed that the two knobs are different. This is a sort of silver, maybe a bit of brass in it, and this is a different knob altogether. Now I'm going to replace the knobs, and I think what I'm going to do is not try to make them gold. This is gold. The bodywork is all sort of a very gold, but it's faded so much over the years that if I put gold knobs on there, they would stand out like a sore thumb. So I'm not going to put gold knobs on. I have silver knobs, but I don't like them either. So what I'm going to try to do, depending on whether they fit, I have a pair of black knobs, which I think will look great there. And so if they fit, is there a screw? No, it's an Allen key. They're an Allen key jobby. Right, okay. I'm going to take away all these screws. I may replace those screws, but we'll see. I'm going to switch off, and I'll come back when they're all loosened. So that's the screws off. I haven't looked yet myself to see what's underneath. So it'll be a joint revolution. Oh, I'm pleasantly pleased at all the copper. Look at all that there. I'm not sure if that was done in factory, but I don't care. That's very nicely done. The pickups, let me feel them. No, they're loose enough. Are they loose enough? Yeah, they're loose enough. So the bend in the pick guard, which is not much, is some other reasons caused, but overall I'm quite impressed with that. That's quite good. One of the things the pick guard has got, I don't know if you can see it, it's got dullness there and dullness there onto the strings, but it's shiny everywhere else. I wonder, let me just look to see. It's quite possible I might be able to replace the black parts of the pick guard. Let me look at the one he replaced. Mind you, that's been sellotaped there for years. Yeah, the black pick guard covers are interchangeable, but I don't know. I think I'm going to let the original stay there. Right, when I was pulling the cover off, I noticed that a lot of screws were slightly discolored. Each one of the holes is going to have to be refilled with a little bit of wood and to make the screws tighter. But let's have a listen to it and see what the it's quite quiet. That's the middle position. Top two. They're going to need to be adjusted, the pickups, because they're too low, but we'll do that when the strings are on. I'm just testing to see that they will move with a screwdriver, and they are moving with a screwdriver. So let's look at these screws. These are the original screws with it, and you can see they're a brass color. If you look carefully, they're a brass color, but the heads have lost all their brass color completely. You see, these are the same. They probably were brass colored as well, but they've gone silver now. And if I put brass, shiny brass in, I don't have shiny brass here. I only have gold screws, and I'll let you see. These are too small, but they're also they'll let you see what it looked like. I'm not actually sure that No, they stick out like a sore thumb, so I'm not impressed with that. So, do we just use the original screws? I think so. I think so. It's a 20-year-old guitar. Screws are only for appearance sake in this instance. So what I'm going to do, let me just, yeah, all feels good. What I'm going to do is put the screws back in, but I'm going to toothpick them all. I'm going to toothpick them all. Stocks of toothpicks. Just to give it that. They weren't awful when I took them out, but one or two were turning and turning and nothing moving. So a little toothpick in there will just give them that little bit of thread. What I should have done before I do anything, actually it's still on. Let's just listen to the, it's so quiet, isn't it? You're very quiet, machine. Gonna need a little bit of oil. Everything's working. Just a little bit of noise, so I'm going to put a little drop of switch cleaner down in there. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to check those screws to make sure they're tight. Right, what I'm going to do now is switch off the camera because you don't need to see me going shh. I'll switch them back on as soon as I put the screws in. Right, there we have the screws back on and everything working nicely. I'm going to put a little drop of WD-40 down inside the, I'm going to spray it inside a little plastic container. And toothpick time again. I don't want to splash it because it is old and it is beautiful and its colours, they are fine. If you know what that is, that's Northern Ireland. They're coming up to the marching seasons and the men and Orangemen wear their sashes, the orange sashes, and they sing a song about it. It is old, but it is beautiful, and its colours, they are fine. It was worn in Derryocker and Enniskillen and the Boyne. Now those are all battlefields that were fought. I believe they were all battlefields fought against King James, the Catholic king coming over to take control of Ireland, who fought the Protestant king, King William, who came over from, was it Holland, and fought the Catholic King James for control of Ireland. And it wasn't just about Ireland, because James wanted to take the whole of the UK, but he thought he would use Ireland as a jumping off point. But he made a mistake. So that's why people say it was a Protestant Catholic thing. But King Billy's sister was married to King James, and the Pope, the Catholic Pope, financed King Billy, the Protestant. So it wasn't just a war of religion, it was a war of control, but it's been turned into a decades-long war of like some people call it independence, other people call it for what it is, just terrorism. People want to unite the country against the wishes of the people who live, who don't want to. And you can't do that in a democracy. You have to have the democratic permissions. So that's the whole gist of it. Now, I'm going to put these knobs in, if I can. That's the whole of the Irish conflict spelt out in 30 seconds. Yes. Well, that didn't take long. I found the right key just as soon as I pressed the button. So let's hope these fit. And just loosen. Oh, come back, Paddy. Riley to Ballyjames Duff. Right, that's as far as it'll go. Now, will it go down? That's as far as it'll go down. You don't want to go crazy about pulling those nuts because you can't pull the guts of the potentiometers out whilst you're jumping up and down on them or pulling at them. So you press hard when you're putting them on, but don't go nuts, because you could press too hard and push the shelf through the potentiometer. So press it firmly, but don't go nuts. So doesn't that look a little bit better with the black knobs on than two odd knobs? That's the two odd knobs before. So the black knobs give it a little bit of a... I would actually like to see a black whammy bar or a gold whammy bar. Problem is, if you had a gold whammy bar, it wouldn't match up to everything else because this is all so faded now. Now, I'm going to take this off, but I want you to see, this is what I was saying to you earlier about the screws. Somebody, I say somebody, if you look there, they've used the wrong size screwdriver and they scratched that all up and they've lifted it and it's a bit dented there. It's still workable, but it's definitely a moaner for me because I don't like to see that kind of thing happening. I don't like to see screws damaged. Now this is an unusual saddle and bridge and plate and etc, etc. I'll show you why in a second. I haven't seen this before and I thought originally it was broken. But let me just take this out completely before I say any more, because it may still be broken, but we'll see. These screws were also a brass colour, because you can see a brass colour in them, but over the years they've faded. Now, will the springs let me take them off? Turn this over, and this is what I'll show you. I don't know whether you can see this or not, but you see it's rounded there for the screw to fit into. I don't think that's broken, because if you look carefully at it, you'll see there's a lip going the whole way to the edge. So there was supposed to be, that is correct the way it's done, and that looks to be correct because, as you see, there's no raised part of the metal like there is a raised part of the metal there. So I presume that, what point would that be? I can't figure out what the point is, because if it was both sides like that, you can move it sideways. Not sure what that point is. In that, if you know what the point of that is, let me know. What I'm going to do now is spray this liberally with WD-40 and wash it all out, clean it all out, and put it back in again. And I think Bob's your uncle on that one, but I'm not going to do that on camera. Okay. Now, I'm very disappointed in all of you, because it's been 10 minutes that I've been cleaning and oiling this, and nobody's responded and told me what they think about this. This one side being shape of a screw and the other side not. Nobody's responded, not one person. Disgraceful. Oh. And this is almost live. In other words, it's not live at all. No, Georgie girl, it's a very warm Sunday today. And Georgie girl has got her new catio with a new roof on it, and she's out in it now enjoying the sunshine. Right, so what I need to do is I want to make sure they're all turning. Now that I've finished that, I probably sped that up, and I didn't say anything interesting anyway. When do I ever say anything interesting? Eh? Don't patronize me by saying I'm interesting. I know I'm a boring old fart. Right, okay. All right. Very impressed with that. That's why everything was so quiet when I put on the amp. I didn't even know the amp was on. All that nice carbon sheeting inside. I have a pile of it. I never get to use it. Get in there. Get in there. And at the end of the video. See the as I say, it's an old guitar, it's a vintage guitar. I don't want to try to turn it into a new guitar. I just want to give it a good service. Now what I'm going to do is clean inside there, even though I heard nothing, but I'm going to give it a little clean anyway. And as you can see, it's cleaned that up and taken some of the rust off. This is my paintbrush, but I like the larger brush aspect for cleaning the guitar. Right, okay, so happy, 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 happy. The next thing to do is to, I was going to say, is to put the springs back on, which is what I'm going to do now. No, this is the other guitar. This is the one that doesn't have a cover. So let me go and look through my stock of covers, what I have. Well, that's a pain. I don't have any black. I have white. That fits, but it's white. But it doesn't fit properly because the strings are not there. Right, okay. This doesn't fit either. This is one more that fits. It is even closer to fit, but it's not right. So what I'm going to do is I have an old cover from a Pixima printer, which I'm hopeful that I can make a cover from. Yeah, it's a perfect thickness. And it would be this end, this side. It's dirty at the moment, you can't see it. But it would be this side that I would be using. And I'll use one of those, these there things, to give me a template, size template. And give me one side, and then I'll mark the other sides out, and then cut it and shape it. And I will cut a hole in it. I won't try to be fancy and cut slots in it. What I'll do is I'll cut a single hole right across it, because I ain't got all that to build. That feels a little high. Let me just feel that. Yeah. Those are sitting high. I suspect it's because the whole thing needs to come up. Isn't it amazing that this here? What am I missing? Am I missing something with these two screws? I don't think so. That's better. That's it down flat now. Yeah, down flat. Okay, this is going to be a pain to cut plastic, so, but I got to do it unless I go and try to buy one that fits, but it's going to be hard to get one that fits. Okay. I've polished the frets and I've done nothing with the fretboard except for to put some lemon oil on it, and it's all looking gorgeous now. Isn't that beautiful? The frets are perfect. I checked them. I checked the neck straightness, and it's exactly the way I like it. And the only thing I'm going to do now is put some strings on this and get it up to tune. At the moment, there's a little bit more to do at the back. There you are. Since I last seen you, I put the strings on, got her up to tune. The action is not just good, it's superb. I spent a long time working on the action. I put a hair slim shim just under the neck there so that I could bring down the intonators because they were just on the edge of being high. And so I spent a lot of time intonating this. Let me just check the tuning. New strings. So it's a lovely guitar. But the action. I think it's beautiful action. I wish I could do the action justice, but I can't. Sounded like something I heard. I can't remember anyway. Got good rock and roll sounds. And rich tone sounds. But I really think it's a beautiful sounding guitar. I've had a lot of good guitars. I've had Gretches and I've had real Gibsons and Fenders and things like that, but no one has come close to the action of this guitar. Such good action, you could swing the strings. I'm not a great lead guitarist. But anyway, I wish I could play something for you that was nice, but there you are. Very nice guitar. Very nice guitar indeed. I like it. I like it. I'm very impressed with the Cheri make.